today on Talkin' Rock with Meltdown.
It's another 2-for-1 today, the Talkin' Rock with Meltdown podcast. Up first, it's Taylor Momsen from the Pretty Reckless. Their new record's going to be called Death by Rock and Roll. That's also the name of the new single. We talk about a lot of things, including the death of Chris Cornell while the Pretty Reckless toured with Soundgarden.
Oh, it devastated me.
Yeah.
We had a few hard years. Not gonna lie, I went pretty down. Not to get too heavy into it, but I went pretty down. And
we talk about how rock and roll saved her. We talk about some of the special guests on the record, where they recorded it, as well as if this record drained her creatively.
Creatively drained for a moment, yes. But I think that happens every time, though. Anytime you put your all into something, you're kind of left with this empty feeling of like, well, what now?
Taylor Momsen, I'm not going to lie, the last record from Pretty Reckless, Who You Selling For, is just like unbelievable. I love that record. It's one of my favorites of the 2000s and 10s, I guess you could say. But anyways, this new song, Death by Rock and Roll, which is the title track from what she tells me coming up here in a few minutes, is just killer. I've always been a huge fan of Taylor. I've had a chance to meet her a few times. She's always been really nice, really courteous, and just a really good person. So they asked me if we wanted to talk to Taylor, and of course, I had to jump at the chance. The new record's coming out. She's got some special guests. We talk about some of the songs. We talk about, a little bit about maybe the depression she went through after the whole death of Chris Cornell, and a ton more. It's Taylor Momsen today on Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Hope you guys enjoy this. Hey, Taylor, is that you?
Yes, it is. Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How's things?
Things are going swimmingly, surprisingly.
Is that right? I was gonna say, like, how's the lockdown treated you?
I mean, lockdown is, it's kind of the same for everyone, I think. I mean, I'm a homebody in general, so it hasn't been too brutal on me. I've just been playing a lot of music and stuff, but the hard part is just not being able to tour. Like, that's just killing me right now. Like, not being able to get out there and play these songs live is brutal. Yeah,
I couldn't imagine spending the last couple of years working on something and then just having to sit on it. It just drive me insane, I imagine.
It's a bit challenging because it doesn't feel like you've completed the circle yet. You haven't completed the circle till you've gotten on stage and cranked your amps and screamed, to an audience. It doesn't quite feel real, but it's apparently everything's going really well right now, and it's really exciting. I'm glad it's out, though. I'm glad people have something to listen to.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I tweeted out to you last week, man, I think the song is freaking killer, man. It is smoking, and I just love the last record so much, and I cannot wait for this record. By the way, when is this going to drop?
That is the question I keep getting, and I don't have the answer. It's because everything's still in kind of limbo right now, with all the pandemic and, very unprecedented times. So we're not exactly sure, but I do know that we're going to be putting out more songs and stuff and more material before the full album. So this isn't just a quick little flash in the pan and we're going away. We're back.
All right, cool. And so is the record actually called Death by Rock and Roll? This is the title track?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize, I've always felt like I've had and I don't want to sound too corny or cliche or nothing, but I've always felt like I've had this little tiny connection with you because, we talked before that Soundgarden show here in Detroit. Then we all witnessed that last show. And then I'm reading here in your bio that the record company sent me on how really that really did shake you guys up, huh?
Oh, it devastated me.
Yeah.
We had a few hard years. Not gonna lie, I went pretty down. Not to get too heavy into it, but I went pretty down and into depression, and it took music to get me out of it again. I finally started writing again to get out everything that I was feeling, and that is what turned into the record that you are all going to hear, hopefully very soon.
You strike me as the kind of person that music would turn around a lot of things that are going wrong within your life, right?
It certainly is. I know it's cliche, but music has saved my life time and time again. It's the thing that I can always rely on and turn to, and it's always there for me, and it's always supported me, so I support it.
Yeah, no doubt. So you're talking about dropping some of these other songs and stuff, and of course, we just mentioned Soundgarden, Matt Cameron and Kim Thaler on one of them, Only Love Can Save Me Now. And that was recorded at London Bridge Studio in Seattle, so that's pretty cool because that's where all those grunge records were recorded. Am I correct?
A lot of them, yeah. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that title was out yet. I think you just got the exclusive.
Oh,
on that.
sorry about that. I got some more titles, but I'll keep them under my hat if you want me to. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to be. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying that yet. But yeah, no, we recorded that in Seattle at London Bridge Studios, and it was just an awesome experience to get to actually spend some time in Seattle. You know, like every time we're on tour, we're in and out so fast, but to really get to kind of experience the city for all that it is and all that history and record at such an iconic studio where, you know, they made Pearl Jam's 10 there and Louder Than Love by Soundgarden. And it's just, and then to be there with Soundgarden, it was pretty surreal.
Yeah, I can imagine. That must have been cool. If the walls could talk in that place, I suppose, eh?
I think they do. You know, I think that's the cool thing about recording studios. You walk in and you can just feel that history. It's all in there.
Now, are we allowed to talk about the another special guest you have on this record or not? I don't know if I can or not. Now I don't know what to talk about now.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know either.
This is all stuff your people sent me, so I'm just like relaying it.
Then sure. If they told you to talk about it, then I'm going with you.
Yeah, it's Rage Against the Machine.
If I get in trouble, I'm blaming you.
All right, that's fine. I'll take the heat for it. So Tom Morello's on a track called "And So It Went." They call this one rambunctious and raucous. It
certainly is, and it's hard to talk about these songs before they're out. But man, I am dying for people to hear it because they slam. Like it's this record really feels like a rebirth for us, and in a lot of ways, it almost feels like the first record. Mm-hmm. In the sense that we really threw everything we had at it. Like we worked so hard on it, and I'm just excited for it to be out and to have people come on this journey with me and see where it took us. And I think it took us to, in my opinion, to a new level. Like it's a new and improved Pretty Reckless.
Yeah. A lot of things have changed, of course, and happened since the last record. And you just mentioned Journey. And that was always one of the things I thought about the last record is that it really did take you on a journey. It's like the songs all had different kind of flavors and, I don't know, colors, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and this one certainly does, too. I mean, there's a lot of common themes that people will hear, but yet each song is its own world. So it's really a record to listen to front to back in the sense that it really will take you on a journey. And it's an emotional one. It's a ride. Yeah.
Did this record leave you like, I don't know, creatively drained? I mean, is the tank empty or what?
I wouldn't. I mean, creatively drained for a moment, yes. But I think that happens every time, though. Anytime you put your all into something, you're kind of left with this empty feeling of like, well, what now? As Eric Clapton said, a lot of artists struggle with that feeling of once it's out into the world, you're left empty. Like this thing that was filling you up is no longer yours. And artists, as Eric Clapton said, tend to, sometimes fill that hole with alcohol or whatever. And I just try to fill it with more music. So, during quarantine, I'm just writing more and playing guitar all the time and already thinking ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because some of the people I've talked to, well, Sully, for example, said that he was kind of like a writer block during this whole time trying to force himself to write. But do you find it's been a little bit easier coming out or what?
I'm actually trying to force myself not to write.
Okay.
because once I get into that mindset, once I switch mindsets into like commit to it for real, like I'm writing like little ditties and here and there and jotting down ideas. But once I commit, then this record becomes old real fast. So it's like you gotta stick to what we're doing right now. It's like staying on this path.
Yeah, the record.
Death by rock and roll.
Yeah, right. The record's not even out, and you're already gonna be sick of it by time. Yeah, I get you. But with the band, I mean,
I don't know if I'm gonna get sick of it though. I'm pretty proud of this one. I've listened to it so many times, and I'm still not sick of it. So
I guess it was a bad terminology, but you know what I'm saying.
I know. Of course I do.
Yeah. But man, the band sounds smoking on that. I've only heard the first track, like the songs we just mentioned. I haven't heard them obviously, but man, the band they sound so good.
Thank you. I mean, we worked really hard on it, and the one thing I can tell you is Death by Rock and Roll, the song, it's just the tip of the iceberg of this record. Like, it really is. Like, just wait.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. What else you got going on? I mean, obviously everything's kind of like in a holding pattern, right?
It is. Everything is we're trying to figure it out, play it by ear, like figure it out as this new information comes out, and we don't exactly know what we're doing right now. Everything we're kind of a little bit like chickens with our head cut off, but at the same time, why not release music? Like I think it's a great time to, people need that right now. Music saved me. So if it can help some people, put it out there and crank it loud. So we're kind of just trying to figure out, obviously tour is postponed, which is a real bummer because we had some amazing touring lined up. We were supposed to be on the road right now, and it was like Foo Fighters and Guns N' Roses and Pearl Jam, and the list went on and on. And so all that's just getting pushed. It's not canceled. It's just pushed. So everyone's just got to be patient.
Yeah, I think you guys were supposed to play, if I'm not mistaken, Sonic Temple this past weekend. So
Yes, we were. Man. And I'm wicked bums we weren't there. But it'll come back. That's the amazing thing about rock and roll and the power of live music is that you can't keep that down. Like that has to exist. So, even if the circumstances change, it'll come back. And I'm trying to look at it with a positive spin of like, okay, this is almost like tantric. Like, so by the time live music comes back into play, everyone's going to be dying for it. So the shows are going to be bigger than ever,
Well, I haven't heard it put that way, but yeah, I hear what you're saying exactly. So, well, listen, we'll let you split. I know that you got other interviews and stuff lined up today, and we appreciate your time as always. And Death by Rock and Roll, man, I'll tell you, I love it. Like I put in my tweet last week, it's like a modern day Janis, man, and a graspy growl, and the band sounds so good. It's just a great track.
Oh wow, thank you so much, man. That's such a high compliment. Thank you so much for the support. Couldn't do this, guys. You couldn't do this without you guys. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Taylor, it's always great talking to you. Can't wait to see you back here in person, and be well and be safe, and hopefully sooner than later you'll be back here in the Motor City.
Yes, definitely. That is the plan. Thank you so much, man.